Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Goddess Glow podcast with me, your host, Rae Grillo. Today, I have an awesome friend who is in Canada that we met back in 2019, and her name is Nikita Sharma. She is an amazing woman who I've been following you since 2019 after the classes that we took together and just seeing what you've been up to online. And I love your brand. I love what you have to share. And I love that you promote fitness for women and you do it in a way that's more natural. And I feel like really loving and more focused on internal, internal struggles versus the external need to look good. So, this is Nikita, and I would love for you to share a little bit more about your business and what you do.
Thank you, Rae. What a great introduction. Thank you so much. And it's so nice to be on your podcast. It's an honor. So yeah, my business basically started from something that I felt like I had to share with the world. And whether it's a gift or a message or both, it's something that I felt is really needed in society, especially for women. Growing up, I saw a lot of everyone goes through shit, right? But I saw a lot of oppression of women, given like my family is Indian, and growing up in the household that I was in, I would see things that I was like, that's not right. Like I never want to feel that disempowered, that helpless in my life, that weak essentially. And through being bullied as well, being picked on again, it was another moment of like, I feel so weak and helpless and powerless. Not even for myself or like my siblings, but just seeing them get taunted. And then from that pain, kind of grew something beautiful, because once I started going into athletics and weightlifting, I saw that as a release, as an escape. I would get into this mental mindset where first of all, it felt better after every time I worked out or ran, but it was just this clarity. All my problems would just go away, and it just felt so amazing. So from a very, very young age, I kind of figured out intuitively that to get out of my mind, I had to get into my body, right? Moving it through fitness. And then now I'm kind of learning about this breath work that's coming out and meditation. So, but I didn't learn that till like a little bit later. So for me, I was like, I want everyone else to feel how good it feels to get into your body, to move and to feel strong. So for me, that like piece of feeling strong, right? Like lifting weights. I started as a super beginner. I started with like 5 little pound dumbbells, like not knowing what the heck I'm doing, feeling insecure, like looking around to see if people are looking at me. Like I know that feeling. But then I stopped caring as much, right? Then I started lifting heavier weights. And next thing you know, like I'm a personal trainer now. And now I'm like bodybuilding competitions and like winning them. And it's so empowering for me that like I want everyone else, but especially women, to have that feeling of like, you know what, walking down the street, there are 3 men out there that I beat in an arm wrestle, and that feels good. And one of them is my dad, granted, but still. But I think
Hey, the other two though.
the other two, oh man, they can't sleep at night. But like, and I know strength comes in many forms, right? You can be a nice person and still like draw your boundaries and all of that, but being strong in your body is such an important thing. Like just being able to feel like you can defend yourself if that comes, like that's the physical aspect of it, but then the mindset aspect of it, of being mentally strong. Because I posted in one of my videos, I say like going to the gym repeatedly, it's doing something hard. You're like, you have to break yourself down. You need to tear those muscles. But what you're doing is like leaving your comfort zone every single time. And then you come back stronger. And then when you go again, like that's just building a resilient mindset and character. the more I started to get into spiritual work, I realized it's a very masculine thing to do. Whereas something like yoga or meditation, it's passive, but we need both to
Yes.
be in harmony, right? And I've been observing like really strong women or really strong men out there, and they have mastered their masculine and feminine side.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like I think not a lot of women embrace their masculine side. For
In not a
example,
toxic
like,
way.
and not a toxic way, right? Not like demeaning a poor man in a way that, like, honestly, I've been in a toxic relationship, and just through childhood trauma, like we all know what that how where that leads eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what's going on? Like something's out of balance. Like I can't, why can't I draw my boundaries? So I was strong in some ways, but not in other ways. And I think we're all just helping each other, guide each other home, and
Yeah.
finding ways that we can achieve balance. So I do that through lifting weights, helping people, with their nutrition, and also now the mindset portion I include in my
Mm-hmm.
programs too. But that's really what gave the birth to Lift, Love, Laugh.
Yeah. Lift, love, laugh.
Yeah.
I resonate with what you're saying because I
Mm-hmm.
think where I started, and I think Tony Robbins says this as well, is, get in tune with your physical side. And something I tell my clients is like do stuff that makes your body feel good because
Mm-hmm.
it's, easier to get into now, the moment and now, because your body is always in the present moment. It's our
Mm-hmm.
minds that love to wander around and yeah, like go every which way.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I started lifting weights because I saw this power lifter, I think
Mm-hmm.
Maddie Forberg, and
Okay.
I don't know if you know who she is. However, I loved her body and she was my height. And I was like, I can achieve that. And then that's when I started. And when you met me, I was in my like 200 pounds. And now I've cut down a lot more. However, it's through weightlifting. And I've noticed too, for me, like my mindset, I would work on it at the gym.
Yeah.
And one thing I started doing too, which maybe you can talk into more of this, is something that I had to do that felt uncomfortable because again, I was in a toxic relationship as well. I didn't feel safe around men, and there's a lot of men doing weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, through now, like I found it very empowering for me. However, I remember starting out, I would go to the women's gym
Yeah.
and then doing the mindset work. It's like I came to this point where I was like, why am I hiding in here? I
Mm-hmm.
should be able to go out and feel safe enough to be around guys. And I started to work on just like slowly and surely, like, okay, we'll start off in the cardio section and then move over to weightlifting. And are you able to talk into like when you're at the gym for women who, want to feel even more so empowered? Because I feel more empowered when I do, where I like, getting into like a little comparison thing, like comparing my weight size to a guy next to me or something, it could be empowering. And like how you're saying with the arm wrestling.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That's 100%. They motivate me when I see them like lifting heavy weights. I'm like, oh yeah. But it took me a while to get over that as well. Like I didn't feel comfortable working out inside of men, especially you're doing some of the movements like bending over and like doing hip
Yes.
thrusts in public. Like that took a while to get over. But now when I'm there, I'm just like they're there to work on themselves just as much as I am, right? And
Mhm.
if you talk to some of these guys in the gym, like especially the bigger guys, they're some of the most sweetest people that you will ever meet. And
Yeah.
they're there because they love the sport and they actually want to help others. Granted, there's a few, but that always ruin it. But that's usually just the like immature guys. But no, when you're in there and like everyone's just like working on themselves, dude, there's synergy there and it
Hmm.
motivates you, right? Like you go to a library or school to study because that's where you do it. It's designated. So but yeah, I remember being kind of insecure and going into like private rooms and then girls only rooms. But then as I got more comfortable, a big part of it is looking stupid as well, right?
Hmm.
Like if you don't know the form, how to do that, like whether it's in front of males or females, not everyone doesn't want to look stupid. So that's another kind of mindset thing that is required to get over when you
Yeah.
start lifting weights. But that's why mindfulness is so huge. It's such a big personal journey, right? It's such a big personal journey,
Mhm.
like this transformation that you go through.
And being
So
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Like that's the part of it. That's part of it is like how you're saying with the muscle tears. It's a mental thing where being uncomfortable, it's just going to happen. You just push through it.
Yeah.
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 And you were saying too, like, because I've talked to, like, when I go to the gym now, it's like I talk to whomever's there. I typically go by myself and I don't really like to keep my headphones in too much. Um, because I've met some pretty cool guys and girls who, they go to the gym because it is something that helps them with their mindset. It's something that's healing and helps with their traumas. I found because I could get deep with people. For some reason they're very like open and they want to share and stuff. And I am wondering if you want to share more about using the gym to work out the traumas and using more of that, spiritual healing in the gym. Like what sort of practices do you have yourself go through or your clients go through?
Mm. Honestly, for me, yeah, it's more mindset than anything, and helping with anxiety, depression, and all of the other mental host of mental illnesses. That's really how it started for me, how I got like addicted to it. And yeah, just kind of going back to being like bullied and when I was young, because I grew up in a very, very small town, like very remote Canada. So like me and my family were the only colored family up there in a town of 3,000 people. And I grew up like being teased sometimes on a daily, but for sure on a weekly, they're just walking home from school. So I really never didn't feel safe in public for a long time. And even
Mm-hmm.
into my adult life, like once I started being more self-aware of my thoughts, like even just being in a work environment, I was so afraid to make a mistake. I was so afraid to look stupid. Anything that would come out of my mouth, I would be like judging and second guessing, like, oh my God, I sound like such an idiot. Like they're gonna laugh at me because that's that trauma pattern still from childhood, right? Like not wanting to stick
Mm-hmm.
out, not wanting to be different for fear of being ridiculed. So the gym became a place for me it became meditative for me. And then it helped me release that because I stopped caring so much. And then I started building confidence within myself. And then that confidence spilled over into other areas of my life, right? I started having like kind of scary conversations, or I started just like holding myself with more confidence. And so there's that, but also like the breathing, right? When you're lifting those weights, you have to breathe heavy. And now that I'm into breath work, I can see how it correlates and like releasing pent
Mm-hmm.
up emotions and helping to clear the mind. And then the dopamine rush that you get after, right? Like that's the best. But for me, that's why I'm such an advocate of working out, health and fitness. Like the body aspects, like looking good, that was honestly just a great byproduct.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I got into lifting weights, I was living in Calgary, which is like 11 hours away from my hometown, my different
Okay.
hometown. And then I went home and my high school friends were like, damn, Nikita, you got an ass. Like, what have you been doing? Yeah. Because I was always very flat, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm just like lifting weights. Like I like it. And I've been doing it
Mm-hmm.
more often. So, and I honestly, I have trouble with clients who want to do it purely for aesthetic reasons,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm such an advocate of like, this is a lifestyle, this is a habit. If you don't enjoy it, like it's going to be tough for you to get that dream body booty, because you have to be dedicated to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if people are going into it for superficial reasons, they usually don't last as long.
Mm-hmm.
But if I what I try to do is help them find the joy in it, help them be like, hey, look, when you're doing this, yeah, you have less lower back pain. Hey, you're actually in a better mood. Hey, you're actually carrying yourself with more confidence, and you actually have more confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that will make people stick with it, or, my
Yes.
hopes. For some people, it's different. Some people like to dance or do water sports to get into their body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just all one avenue for getting out of our minds, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoying
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You were saying, I've been really interested in breath work. I've done some, like I've done a few sessions. How, though, do you incorporate the breath work? And I know with like lifting, there's certain like, breathing in and holding your breath when you're doing a squat, like really heavy squats, you know? And so I can see that being like breath work. Is there a certain work though that you do per exercise when you're teaching it, or is it like different sessions outside of the gym that you do?
So I do it in like my morning routine. So I'll do like meditation, breath work, and honestly, I just use the Wim Hof app. Like, it's great. I'm
Mhm.
not endorsed,
Okay.
but it's super easy to use as guided, and it's 30 deep breaths in and out, and then you hold on the last out breath for 15 seconds, and then you do it again for ideally 3 cycles. But
Okay.
as I started to do that, I realized how it related to lifting, because when you lift, first of all, like, all your power comes from your diaphragm, from your core.
Mhm.
And when you
Okay.
breathe in, you're getting that power. And then when you breathe out, which is when you should breathe out on the exertion of the exercise, the hard part, that is your diaphragm contracting, your core contracting. So if you can tie to the two together, right? When you breathe in, you're preparing to lift that exercise. You
Mhm.
breathe out, you exert that power. And it's just like karate, right? That the reason they make that ki sound is when they
Yeah.
breathe out, that diaphragmatic pressure um, creates all that power. And then that's where breath work comes from. Like, when you're doing breath work, kind of what we did before this, right? You're tapping into
Mhm.
your internal power, you're tapping into your core. And I've been doing more like chakra meditations. I've been finding that core, right? It's at your root, it's the very last chakra, and that's connected to the ground. And that's where like source energy comes from, like the mother, like all this kind of stuff is just making a lot of sense now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to touch on too something that I've been noticing, and that for me, breath work has been helping me is releasing some pent up traumas or pent up emotions. I so like I'm more so like a relationship coach now, and I love to do podcasts though with inspiring people like you, people who inspire me and get them on my podcast. However, for like my relationships and stuff, and through like the trauma that I went through, I've noticed I became emotionally unavailable.
Mm,
And I was like, man, like, how can I, when you ask source, the universe, whatever, is like, okay, I'm noticing that I'm emotionally unavailable to, or these guys that I'm attracting are emotionally unavailable. And so I'm like, where am I? Since
I
I'm
don't
seeing
know.
it, since I'm recognizing it, like, where am I emotionally unavailable? And
Yeah.
that's why I started getting into breath work, is because it's like that, your chakras again, that energy is like pent up there and like your solar plexus. And I can see how weightlifting and doing breath work like that, like getting that energy moving, has
Mhm.
helped me become more emotionally in tune and like not so much like suppressing, like suppressing the emotions anymore.
Mhm.
So that's what I've been enjoying with that breath work. However, you're saying chakras and getting things moving. And the thing that I thought was your solar plexus. However, what about like say um like your throat chakras and stuff? Like, do you help people align their chakras more so, or is it more um yeah, like what sort of like spiritual, like how do you incorporate the spiritual aspect with the weightlifting aspect?
Well, mind, body, spirit, it's all connected, right?
Mm,
That's no secret now, and I can only teach what I know.
yes.
So for me, I am almost like going on this journey just one or two steps ahead of most of my clients. So that when I'm finding these chakra aligning meditations and the series that like first focuses on all of them. And I've created a document for people that are new and beginners to meditation. And I explain how it's a muscle, but now I'm like, well, now I want to make an intermediate one, because now I've like, and when I come across these YouTube videos, like I'll share it with my clients. Like I have a WhatsApp group that most of my clients are in. I'm like, yo, you guys, cause we're all kind of doing the same thing. I'd be like, this is first get in tune with your main chakras. Now do the root one, now do the solar plexus one, now do the heart one, now do the throat one, every like on a different day, so that you get each one give it the attention. And I also provide resources like Joe Dispenza. He's got this really great series that's on Rewired. So I'm like, watch this. This bridges the gap between like science and spirituality of the body and mind. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm doing it. Some people pick it up, some people are into it, and some people don't, and that's fine. But I'm like, even if like one or two of my ladies, like they're into it and they're learning, like, wow, what a, as us, as a collective, like we're all waking up, and that's beautiful. That if I can be their coach and help them with that, fuck yeah. And yeah, exactly like you're saying, like for me, it really unlocked my solar plexus as well. And that tied to my spirituality and relationships. Like I so on board with what you were saying. Absolutely. So it's and I get better the more that I learn, because when you teach, you learn a lot yourself too, right?
Yes.
The deeper I go, the more I'm curious about it, the more I know, and then the more I can transfer to my clients, really. But yeah, the breath work, it just helps with your physiology, emotions so much. Yeah, I really think like that's something I'm more interested in, is kind of finding out about that more. And I think that's like the next level for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's part of my journey is more breath work. I've been looking into some classes because it's been so beneficial for me. Moving into like you're an entrepreneur, and we were talking about how, I mean, you were doing amazing things before you became a coach. And I remember you reaching out to me about coaching about like a year ago. And then that's when you started your business. It was during COVID. And I want you to share, I guess, like a little bit more about your story from before, like how you got into it, or if there's any words that, you can share with trainers. Because I've met previously, I believe I talked to a few trainers before you, and I attempted to get them on my podcast, and things don't work out. Like there's resistance, and it's like meant to happen the way it's supposed to happen. However, I've just been noticing sort of like a shift for people who like they want to do coaching, yet there's something that's blocking them. And if you can sort of like tell your story in a way where if people are really thinking about it, just to like pull the trigger and do it, yeah.
The online coaching.
The online.
Yeah. Good point. I like that. So for me, I went on before I decided to do it, I went on a bit of a spiritual journey. And I asked myself, what kind of life do I want? What kind of life do I want to create? I wanted freedom. I didn't want to work for anyone else. I wanted to do something I was passionate in. I still wanted to be in the health and fitness industry. Like I still wanted to do coaching. And how am I going to make that work? So I knew some of my ex-colleagues that were doing this online personal training thing, but I kind of laughed at it. And I'm like, okay, well, what, you post videos on Instagram? Like I didn't understand it. So I actually asked a few of them like what it looks like, what they do. And then I was like, okay, I can actually see how it could work, and it would offer me the freedom, because like I want to be able to travel wherever I want, whenever I want, pick up and go. Like I'm a free spirit like that.
Yeah.
I like to be adventurous. So I was like, that really fits my lifestyle. It's not for everyone, right? People that want a family, want a home base, all that, like maybe not the best thing for them. People that want a constant influx of stable clients, although personal training is never that stable. But if people want to be in the gym, like that's fine too. That was something I had to let go of actually, because I didn't see how it would be feasible for me to get my clients results through online training. So I got myself trained by a trainer online first. to see how it worked, and also to see how I could like make it better, work out any bugs. And then I saw it really does work for someone who is maybe not a complete beginner, like never touched a dumbbell before, but someone who just needs proper guidance, just needs that point in the right direction, needs that program, like a little bit of check on a form, things like that. There's a lot of benefits to it. Like you don't need to meet one-on-one with a trainer, which was one of the issues, like canceling all that. You just work out on your own. You have the workouts on this app all the time. So that was great, because another part of my lifestyle was like in-person personal training. There's a cap. You can have a 1 hour session with one person, but the max you can train is like 8 hours a day. And that's a long day. You're freaking exhausted. You're on your feet all day. Your brain is on, you're teaching, you're coaching. Your own health and fitness takes a dip, because like I was so tired. I wasn't even getting enough proper workouts myself. So I was like, I don't see myself continuing with this as a long-term career. And then, but those are the benefits of the online training, because you can deliver your course to so many people all around the world, really. And now you can record your course and sell that as passive income. So there's so many huge areas of opportunity. And one of the biggest things I had to get over was, like posting on social media and being on Instagram and being on TikTok and talking on front of a camera. But I was like, if these are my fears, not wanting to be on social media and talking in front of a camera, that are holding me back from living my dream, I better get over this shit.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I joined Toastmasters, is because I'm like, I need to speak on camera. And that's something I need to learn to do. And it was also a fear from childhood. So I'm like, I want to get over that. I don't want to be afraid of speaking in front of people anymore.
Yeah.
So
and then you got onto TEDx.
Oh my God. Then I did a TED Talk. I was like, what is life?
Yeah.
But I was like, if I can do that, like, oh my God, what can't I do?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what was so crazy, so cool? You know that saying, like, what you resist persists?
Yes.
Is I was so nervous to give that TED Talk. Like, I was shaking. I was doing push-ups in the hallway just because it was one of my biggest fears. And it is for so many people, but
getting that pump into.
Like a thick bicep. Doing a health and fitness talk, right? You gotta look the part. But after I got off, like as soon as I stepped onto that stage, I went to like flow state. Everything went clear, and I was just like, oh my God, this feels so good. And then when I was finished, I like leaped off the stage. I was like, I could do that again. Yeah. And it felt so good. It really felt like I was serving, like I was giving a part of me to the crowd on the stage. And then my speech coach, he was like, pay attention to that. Like, that's a sign. Like, that means that maybe it's something that you're meant to do. And I'm like, whoa, it's so crazy that it was something that I was so terrified to do. And now I want to be a public speaker. Like, I do want to be a motivational speaker. So it's just, life is just so crazy. But like, when you say yes to life, life says yes to you. I'm such a firm believer of that. As soon as like I stepped in 2 feet with like, no, I want to do this. This is a life I want to live. I have some things to get over, but I'm committing to it. That's when these opportunities started opening up. And that's when, life was just like, okay, she's ready now. And just giving me things. And, I'm so grateful, honestly, that I get to do this, do what I love, and honestly just to hope to inspire others to follow their dream and do what they love. And
I love that. Some things too that you were saying was the like letting go of certain beliefs that you had, like, how am I going to do this online, when it's like a different paradigm. It's expanding and getting out of it's like expanding your consciousness and different perspective. Like, because when you're saying that, it's like, oh, well, there's a bunch of trainers or coaches that work online, However, it's like you can still have this belief that's not true. And it's like relinquishing and like letting go of that belief, and then also letting go of fear. For people out there who are listening and they're wanting to do something, and it's like, hey, you have to let go of some things, and not just like people, let go of like toxic people. Sometimes it's letting go of certain habits. It's letting go of certain fears and letting go of beliefs that just don't benefit you anymore. And the only way to get over that is to do it.
To go through it.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
go through it, like bust through it, like
Yeah, exactly. But on the other side, you're just like, oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. Like it's just
yeah,
me. Like it's
yeah,
not so scary.
yeah.
Right. And it looks different for so many other people. Like, because when I see other trainers posting, doesn't look like they're scared at all. Like they seem like naturals. I'm like, having compassion on myself. I'm like, okay, so I feel very proud of what I'm doing and I'll get
Mhm.
there, but I'm not going to get there until, baby steps. It all takes baby steps.
Yeah.
But the trainers that don't succeed or online coaches that don't succeed is that they let the first signs of uncomfortableness, like they let it stop them. And but if it's really something you want to do, if you really believe in it, because belief is everything, then you will
Mhm.
find ways to make it happen instead of letting that fear stop you.
Mhm. Yeah, man, you're inspired me. Like I feel inspired. Like I've been coaching for a bit, and I'm like, you're so right. Because there's different, when you're upping your game, there's just different thresholds.
Yeah.
And so for you, what is your next? What's your next town? Your next threshold? Like your next thing that you're gonna overcome?
Yeah, good question. So for the next until September, I'm really focusing on building my business, on helping as many people as I can, because I'm
Mhm.
in like the baby stages and I'm making, like, I'm doing good, but I want to take it to the next level and really build my course out, build my content out, and just be more of that presence online. I want to get into YouTube more and
Mhm.
have kind of talks like this about women empowerment, about sex, about like what it means to be strong as a woman, like not just the kind of tied in with the health and fitness stuff.
Mhm.
So I want to do that. And then eventually I'll get back to designing this product I had to connect other trainers around the world with clients. But the motivational public speaking actually thing is the thing next. I have a consult with somebody on Thursday. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Ooh,
honestly, I would love
exciting.
to travel around and share my message and inspire others and whatever that looks like. Like I'm game for it. But I think that's my next move.
Mhm. All right,
Yeah.
awesome.
And then down the line, like I would love to have my own supplement company, something that's like very healthy, gluten-free. Because I have a lot of people that ask me for recommendations on supplements,
Okay.
and so much stuff out there that's just crap. And people
Yeah.
don't know, and just got fillers of like sucralose and all these things like that. So I want it to be very clean, very natural,
Mhm.
and
And that's what you are. You're a natural bodybuilder as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no steroids in this body.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
could tell. I mean, I've been working out for a bit. You could just tell, like, within someone's skin, like how, like, like rejuvenated your skin looks. And you just see it too, like when people because I used pre-workout for a while,
Mm.
and like I guess like the C4 pre-workout for a bit, and then I went more towards natural. Now I'm like, I don't even need it. You don't
Yeah.
even, it's not something that is like necessary, just eating well.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. It can help. I used to use it as well. It can help somebody get over that hump of like, oh, I don't want to work
Yes.
out.
It's like, oh, well, now I drink it. I have to go now.
Yeah, yeah. And it's been proven like when you buy something associated with your goal, then like now you have to use it. So it builds a bit of excitement around it. But like I've had moments where I've sat in my car for like 20 minutes being like, oh fuck, I don't work out now. But I mean
Yeah.
I still do sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But you just start to enjoy it. And like you said, you realize you don't need those things anymore.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
real quick though, the waist trimmers. What is your view on the waist trimmers or the body corsets? You said you had to buy something. So,
I thought I had to buy something.
no, like when you buy something associated to the goal. Yeah.
Oh, honestly, okay, I can't speak to it because I've never tried it.
Okay.
But my opinion is that it's bullshit and it's stupid and that like it's more damaging for a woman's mindset than anything.
Okay.
However, I've seen the ones where they're like a giant sweat belt and then they take
Yes.
it off and it's just sweaty. I can see the science behind that because you're making yourself sweat more essentially. but I don't know how healthy that is, because like, aren't you just dehydrating yourself, and don't you just have to like make up that water again? Like, water is not bad for you, but like I haven't done it. I don't know the science into it. Maybe it works, but to me it just seems stupid. So
Okay.
there's my opinion on that.
Okay.
I don't condone them. Who knows? Watch, I'll start getting endorsed by a waist trainer. I'm like, I love them, you guys. Actually, these are the best.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell out like that. But again,
Yeah.
maybe they work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good
I do
question.
I use Sweet Sweat. So that's why I ask. And I've been using it.
Oh my God.
And I've been using it for years. Well, no, it's okay. It's like, it's like whatever. I always say, whatever feels good for you. Yeah, whatever
Like,
feels good
what
for
have you
you.
noticed from it? Like, why do you wear it? Why do you like it? What
I
do you
do like the sweat, and I do have like more of the band that goes in a little bit more around the waist. And I don't know if it really works. All I know is like I feel curvier. However, it's like I work out my back too. Like I'm gonna do the things to reach that goal, the hourglass figure, and then like work out my quads. However, I'm just like, if it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, just it's more sweat, and I just make sure to drink more water.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So
I could see it being good as like a brace, like a brace for your core.
yes,
So meaning like neutral spine. I could see good for that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, there's the 2 cents on waist trimmers, because I know that's such a big and hot topic.
Yeah, honestly, maybe I'll try it and then I'll let you know. I'll be better to speak.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know what your viewpoint
Do you
is.
have a promo code? Give me your promo code for it.
I do not have a promo code, so yeah, no, I use it though. I use it a lot, and not every time. I love it though. I feel more. Maybe it's a mindset thing too. It's like I feel more like I did a lot of work when I see the sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Very rewarding. Like, oh, they say sweat is fat crying, right? So.
Yes.
Swoosh.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you so much for being on here and being on the Goddess Glow podcast. Is there, anywhere that we can find you? I have some links that I'm going to put down below. And what would you like to talk, or where would you want our listeners to come and find you?
Awesome. I'm more active on Instagram and TikTok now. Actually, I'm having a lot of fun with TikTok these days. It's a fun community there. So yeah, if anyone wants to reach me, Instagram, TikTok, or send me an email, I'm very friendly. I don't bite.
And it's is it all lift, love, laugh?
Yeah. So my Instagram is at Nikita.lift love laugh. Even though I have trouble saying it. And then my website is www.liftlovelaugh. And then TikTok. My TikTok is actually Coach Nikita.
Coach Nikita. Okay. Awesome. And all these links will be down below. And
Coach.Nikita. Sorry. Yeah.
It's gonna be down below. And then also your TED Talk will be down there as well. And yeah, thank you again for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thanks so much, Rae.